Well, we take a look at the digital signage industry, and a lot of years ago, when Jonathan and I first started, when it was a digital retail expo, by the way, we go all the way back with this austere body. A number of years ago, we were sitting there over. This was a 2 bottle of wine night, and the first half of the first bottle, we were kind of decrying how disjointed all of it was. I mean, you had technologies here, and you had software over here, and you had advertising over here, and you had content creators over there, and you had these vast amounts of constituencies. So that was the kind of the first half a bottle of wine over an hour. And so once we got done kind of moaning and groaning and complaining about the reality of the industry, then of course we get to the second half of the bottle, and in vino veritas, right? So we're sitting here in the second half of the bottle, and we looked at each other and we said, well, rather than just moaning and groaning about this, you and I are seminal to this industry. I mean, boy, we're involved, and we do training, and we do all of this. So, we've got a responsibility to do something about this, and we're friends with the people that own the Digital Signage Expo, and friends with a lot of people in the industry. So that was the end of the first half of the second half of the bottle. So then we say, well, let's open another bottle. And at that point, over 2 bottles and about 6 hours of time, we decided to put form and function and structure to all of this. That's how it all began. Absolutely the honest truth, right? And we're now into like our 8th year of doing the certification programs. So we sat there drinking our nice Cabernet or Merlot, and we sat there and we're talking about it. We said, well, all right, what are the key elements? What are the key elements? So we came up with a group of 9, 10, 12 things that we thought were common among all of the different constituencies in digital signage, things we all had in common, no matter who you were, no matter what you were. These were the common items. So then, of course, I was fortunate enough to be one of the founding members of the Digital Signage Federation. Become a member if you aren't. I was one of the founding members of the Digital Signage Federation, and through that organization and through my friends at the Digital Signage Expo, we got to know all kinds of people. So we don't live in an ivory tower, and we're not insular at our company. So I reached out to the subject matter experts around and said, here's this crazy idea. Here are 9 or 10 or 12 things that we've got going on. Well, from that, we came up with what we call, it took about 6 months, by the way. This was not one of those fly-by-night things that somebody was just in a second bottle of wine, a stupor. This was well thought out and well researched. A lot of good folks were participated in this. So then we came up with the 7 key elements. And the 7 key elements in digital signage are business, content, design, software, hardware, connectivity, and operations. Now, when we first of all came with a 7, and there was consensus among maybe 100 subject matter experts that was it, we had them in the wrong order. So Phil Cohen of Phil Cohen fame, Cohen on content, hey Alan, it's Phil. These are great, but you got them in the wrong order. And I said, what? And he says, yeah, the 7 elements are great, but you got them in the wrong order. And I said, well, what's the right order? And he says, business is number 1, content is number 2, and everything else follows. And I said, okay. He says, Alan, if you don't have a business plan, digital signage is a business. Digital signage is a tool. And if you don't have a business plan and you don't articulate your objectives, you can't have content or design or software or hardware or anything else. And wow, it's kind of like my mom would use the phrase, so what Phil did was he jerked a knot in your tail. And I go, yeah, he got my head screwed on really straight. So about 100 people helped create the 7 key elements. Phil Cohen was smart enough to figure out the order. Now, in the ensuing process now in our 8th year, we are finding, because we are impartial, we're agnostic, we're vendor neutral, we have no agenda other than making sure that you understand the fundamentals of what the digital signage industry is all about. That's the Digital Signage Certified Experts program. Then we've expanded into digital signage network expert, digital signage display expert, and of course, no parent should have a favorite, but I do, digital content and media expert. So we've got 4 certifications, got a couple of more in the on deck circle, if you will, that we're going to be rolling out. But what it does is it gives you a foundation, it gives you a credential, it gives you networking, got about 18,000 people in, believe it or not, 64 countries. I was teaching the Digital Signage Certified Expert the other day, and I was up there, and I said, you know, I can't believe it, but we've got people from Nairobi, we got people from Namibia, and one guy says, I'm from Vietnam. And, and I go, yeah. So this is a transcultural, cross-cultural, transgender, impartial, agnostic, vendor neutral. I get a credential. I'm proud of myself. I've got networking. And that's what the certification program is all about. There are very few things that we can do in an industry where we just give back to the industry, and that's what the whole Digital Signage Experts Group, the individual certifications in partnership with the DSE, and I got to give credit, the DSE embraced this early on and gave us a platform. Then the Digital Signage Federation embraced it to give it even more credibility, and so ipso facto, that's the story of certifications in the digital signage industry. Everybody should be certified. Now, rather than just, kind of give that as a toss-away comment, what I mean by that, let's go back to the 7 key elements: business, content, design, software, hardware, connectivity, and operations. Those are the 7 key elements. By the way, they need to be taken in order, and in every single instance, whether it's Harriet's Hair Salon in East Buggy Whip, Nebraska with 1 screen, or whether it is Bank of America with 6,000 screens, it doesn't make any difference. Every one of the 7 key elements is involved. But the consistency of why I say everybody should get certified is that everybody has a part, and they need to know what part they play in this carefully orchestrated thing we call the digital signage network. Without content, it's nothing. Without business, it fails. Without software, no way to manage it. Without connectivity, no way to connect things. Without operations and installation, there's no way to get it online and in service. And so all of the people that participate in those 7 key areas, if you're in advertising, you need to take the Digital Signage Certified Expert and the Digital Content and Media Expert course. If you're heavily in network, you need to take the Digital Signage Certified Expert, and you need to take the Digital Signage Network Expert. If you really deal with displays, you need to keep the fundamental course, Digital Signage Certified Expert and Digital Signage Display Expert. What we find is even people who've been in the business for 10, 20, 15, 20 years, certainly the last 10, 15 years in what we traditionally today call digital signage, even the people that are experts, what they come away with is they say, wow, you didn't teach me anything new, but you taught me order. You taught me the importance of each segment, and now I've got it ordered in my mind, and you're going to help make sure that I don't miss any steps, even people with 10 years of experience, let alone the newbies, if you will, who, you just open up their eye to new possibilities. So when I say everybody, it's not a toss-off comment. Everybody should get certified. And by the way, whenever we teach the certifications, the night before, I go through, I've done these hundreds of times. The night before I review it, the morning of it, I get up early so that I just remind myself the nuance and detail of what our industry has become. DSE is a must-attend event. It's kind of self-serving because obviously I have friends that own the event, and I have friends that manage the event, and I have manufacturer friends who participate. And so at one level, it might be said, oh, well, Alan is just being kind of self-serving to the friends, the colleagues, and everybody he's got in the industry. I want everybody to put that aside for a minute. It really doesn't have to do with that. I'm glad I've got a lot of friends and colleagues in the industry, and I'm grateful for all of those people. But it actually goes much beyond that. Let's say that you come in, you're somebody who wants to get involved in digital signage. And digital signage has now evolved, not in an evolutionary manner. This has evolved in a revolutionary manner. You talk about evolution, you can't see when things evolve over 100 years or 200 years or 300 years. That's evolution, folks. When you see things and you can see it moving in real time, that's revolution. And so what happens with the Digital Signage Expo from an event perspective is it's the only show, period, and I no fear of contradiction. Used to be a debate coach, and I will be happy to debate anybody on the subject. There is no event that focuses solely on digital signage, digital out of home. There is no event that provides a platform for all the constituencies. Oh, I'm an advertiser, come to the DSE. Oh, I'm a manufacturer, come to the DSE. Oh, I'm an end user, come to the DSE. We just got done with one of our fundamentals tracks, and there was a young lady who happens to be in charge of Dairy Queen of America, all of the digital signage and content for all of Dairy Queen of America. Her name is Jana Ryder, former board member of the Digital Signage Federation. And I asked Jana, I'm the chairman of the track, I asked Jana to come in and teach for us from an end user perspective, requests for information and requests for proposals. And that's part of our fundamental track. You get an opportunity at the DSE to deal with real people who do it, who don't pontificate, who don't preach about it. You get people who really do it. So you're in advertising, you're an end user, you're a manufacturer, you're a technologist, you're an installation expert. So we bring all of these people together in one venue. And our educational programs, we have a technical track, we have a fundamentals track, we have manufacturing track. So this is the only place in one spot for 2 days that you can immerse yourself in all things digital signage. And my point to people is, and I keep trying to get the DSE to expand it to 3 days, but my point is, if you can't invest 2 days of your life in coming to this event and seeing not just the what I call the spectacular ooh shiny of all the beautiful displays and exhibits, I tell people to move past that, look at the 10 by 10 booths, look to find solutions to problems that you may not even know that you have at this particular point. This is the only place where literally you can get 2 full days of immersion, and then after the fact, everybody has the little books, that you get, which says, okay, what is this vendor selling, and what is that vendor, and they give descriptions and all of that. Here's my last piece of advice to the DSE: take the book, because I've been to every one. I do this. Do as I do and do as I say. Take that book, go back home, and then what you want to do is you want to reach out to those vendors and open up a dialogue. Not necessarily that you're going to buy or not buy what they have to sell, but open up a dialogue, because that's going to give you further education. So the show itself, follow up after the show itself, and it's the only place that you can get that kind of full immersion. Now that's sans friendship and everything else. That's the value of the DSE. You've asked me for one word that comes to mind, and I'm gonna actually not answer your question, because they're actually 2 words with a slash: communication and connectivity. If you think about it, this is not an advertising medium anymore, it's a communication medium. If you think about it, it's a connectivity medium of all sources. If you think about it, digital signage as a genre is an experience enhancer, improver, and it's a behavior modification tool. So you can pick, if you've got to say one word, it would be communication. I like the 2 words communication and connectivity. That defines as an umbrella, and everything fits underneath that.